Hey Westchester, this is John Rubo, owner of Yonkers Brewing Company. This is Between Two Tanks, a series about craft beer with great conversation. Today I'm joined with Nuno, who's the owner of DeCosta's restaurant right here in Yonkers, and Tyalure right in Rye. So we're going to hear about DeCosta's, Tyalure, Nuno, all the experience, some really great stories on the water. And here's Nuno. Thanks, Nuno, for joining me.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate that we're here.
My pleasure. So tell us, you have a great restaurant. You've been in Yonkers for a long time. You're on this perfect little corner on Midland Avenue and Yonkers Avenue, close to the Cross County Parkway. What was the inspiration behind DeCosta's?
It actually fell into our hands. We've been there 19 years as DeCosta's. We've actually worked for the previous two other owners there. If anyone knows the history of that corner, it was called Delgadio's before us, and it was called Cafe Pomodoro before that. So I'm partners there with my brother. We both worked there. He was a young 14-year-old working there. I was 18 when I started there. So I've been there a total of 27 years. And in 2005, Delgadio's, the owners, then offered it to us as he was ready to come out of the business, and we took over then. You know, I was working on a fishing boat at the time, full-time, had kept part-time work at the restaurant, and the rest is history. It's now been 19 years that we've been on that corner as DeCosta's.
And you guys are doing some really great stuff in the restaurant. I mean, running a restaurant is never easy. I'm sure a lot has changed over 19 years in the business. So what are some of you know the really fun stories you can tell us? And then like what are some of the challenges you've had to overcome?
I describe it as a roller coaster when everyone talks about restaurants. There's highs and lows. When things are going great and sales are flowing and customers are coming in, it's always great, you know. And then you have your lows. You have issues like COVID that hit and closures and a lot of things to deal with. And you try to overcome it and you try to just adapt. I mean, COVID hit. We never did delivery. We started doing delivery right away on day one. So it's really the willingness to adapt and willingness to not be afraid to get your hands dirty. You know, it's I think why we're there 19 years. If someone doesn't show up to work, my brother or I, who if we're off, one of us is going in that we're off. So it's just that nature to just make sure we don't fail.
That's very much the restaurant business, is rolling up your sleeves and doing whatever it takes.
100%.
Washing the dishes or serving the tables or cleaning the tables.
Whether that's calling your father or your mother, I do the same thing to help out and pick something up because you can't leave and you need something. And I know you do that here too. I mean, we talk to your parents and stuff, and it's a big help when you have that network or someone to watch your kids because you got to come into work last minute. So it's you know, the struggles that you do behind the scenes sometimes that people don't see to make it happen.
Right. I'm often sending my father into Restaurant Depot, which I think he likes.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
Well, he won't tell you otherwise.
Right. When he goes into Restaurant Depot, he's good at finding all the deals.
Sure.
Well, you were talking about COVID. I mean, COVID was not an easy time. You know, it was that March 17, 2020, our restaurants closed, and we had to adapt. And I remember here in Yonkers, it was me and two cooks, one in the morning, one at night. And I had said to someone who came to pick up food, like, how long could this last? 2 weeks? They'll keep us closed for 2 weeks. And 3 months later, you know, finally in June of 2020 is when things started to slowly open back up with restrictions. I know, you know, you guys were very innovative there. You were able to set up a big tent outside. So what are some of the other things you did besides delivery to help you get through COVID?
Well, it was the curbside pickup. It was a lot of different things that we had to adapt. I mean, we were very fortunate with our staff. We didn't panic and we didn't close. So we kept our kitchen staff on. We kept our servers as we offered them a delivery position, and they took the delivery position. So we were very fortunate that we didn't close, that we kept our staff. So when we were able to reopen up outside, that we had our staff. We had to hire a few more people for the outside, but we were very fortunate. I mean, Yonkers was honestly great. Yonkers allowed us to do the tents, allowed us to do the outside dining, made it very accommodating, made it very easy for us to be able to do that. I know other parts of the state, maybe New York City, were less fortunate with higher restrictions, and we were fortunate that we had a front parking lot that we were able to put the tents and the tables outside and have enough space between people to make it happen. But it wasn't easy. It was because you didn't know when the next turn was going to be or the next restriction was going to be, and even though we reopened, we continued to get restrictions or mask mandates or spacing issues with tables. And we're a very small place, so when we had to do 6-foot spacing and we had to do no more than 10 at a table, it really limited our capacity to serve people. And it adapts the customer to do that. But we were fortunate in the sense that our staff stayed along, and we were able to make the best of it.
That's great. Yeah, we're only as good as the staff that we have, and it's important to have great staff. And you guys at DeCosta's have really, great staff that I'm sure have been with you for a long time.
We've been very fortunate. We've been very fortunate.
So the food industry, the restaurant industry, it's always evolving. Like you always have to be on the cutting edge. And it seems, like social media, people have that instant gratification. They want to feel it, see it, touch it, take pictures of it. So at DeCosta's, how have you stayed, ahead of the curve and innovative on what you're doing?
Well, people definitely trend. It's trends in almost every industry, and you kind of have to see where that trend's going. And a lot of times it could be from going out to eat and seeing what other restaurants are doing. I've gotten a lot of inspiration from going on cruises and dining on cruises and seeing certain dishes come out. And maybe it's just an adaptation of what we do, just stacking it a little different, plating it a little differently, and kind of seeing what people no longer want, or sometimes you bring something back that you were serving 20 years ago because it's kind of made a little resurgence. So it's trying to really listen to the customer and say, well, you know what, we missed this, or why don't you have that? And it's, maybe the first time around you're not going to jump and get some, but when you hear 3 or 4 people saying it, then you say, okay, there's something there. Let's bring that in. Let's bring that item in. Let's change it up a little bit, And so we're constantly doing that.
You have many great dishes at DeCosta's, but you have this passion for the water. You said you worked on a fishing boat. I know you guys like to fish. So how do you marry the two?
Well, anyone that comes in knows we have fresh fish, and the thing is, we have people that come in and say, "Oh, I don't like fish; it's fishy." No, fresh fish should be fishy. It should have a delicate blend of taste and texture, and it has to do with how you cook it and prepare it a lot of times. As a kid, I'll be honest, I didn't like fish. It was the way
That's
my
hard to
mother
imagine.
prepared it. It's hard to imagine. I started working on a boat. We started filleting, and actually, my love for fish came when I started working in restaurants. So when working at Cafe Pomodoro and realizing, wait a minute, we can fillet this, not eat a whole fish, as we were served as kids, and we could prepare it in 1,000 different ways, and that's where the love for eating fish came. I was already fishing at the time. My brother and I have a big passion for fishing. So when you come in there, you're going to get the best squid. You're going to get the best fish, because we wouldn't serve something that we wouldn't eat. We know what it should look like when it comes in, how fresh it should be, and we're using the right vendors to make sure that happens.
Great. To put you on the hot seat, what is your favorite Westchester restaurant?
I got to say, we go to a small sushi place in Ardsley a lot called Umani. It's right down the street from where we live. It's probably why it's just very convenient. It's there. The seafood is fresh. The fish is fresh. So we talk fishing with the guys sometimes. So it's probably our go-to place when we do have time. Lately, it's been a little tough with running 2 businesses.
Right. Do you supply them with any fresh fish?
No,
okay.
no. Yeah, it's all the fishing we do is all for pleasure. So
right.
It's just we do a lot of offshore. We do tuna, inshore. Pedro, my brother partner, fishes a lot of striped bass and bluefish, and he's very good at it. But we do a lot of the catching is just for personal.
You run 2 businesses, as you mentioned. Tell us a little bit about Tyalure. It's in Rye. Where in Rye?
Tyalure is a tackle store, fishing. I want to call it tackle and bait, because even though we do sell bait, we don't emphasize. It's a very clean, modern take on fishing, and it's tackle. We do a lot of collaborations. We do work with a lot of manufacturers to collaborate on products and stuff. And maybe I could segue that into maybe doing a little collaboration here and doing a little DeCosta beer something or other.
We'd love to. Yeah, love to.
But that's my big thing there. It's very different take on the fishing industry, where I collaborate. Instead of coming in and trying to create products or package products, I want to work with manufacturers to put my own flair into their existing products. So we've created a brand within Tyalure called Tackle Pusher, and that brand creates all these collaborations and do all this custom work with other manufacturers. And we balance it too. I do both. I mean, we're trying to build a tackle store while still running the restaurant. So it's a lot of hours. I mean, I do work 80 to 90 hours a week, no exaggeration, but it's a passion and a love for it that I will continue to do. And the concept of the name, we named our son Tyler. Many that come to the restaurant and the shop know Tyler, and we chose that name Tyalure because that's the name we gave him, because it sounds like Ty-a-lure, like fishing lure. So that website, the domain name, was actually purchased 14 years ago, even though the shop only opened up 2 years ago. So wow. It wasn't a fly-by-night decision. It was something I've always wanted to do. I met my wife on a fishing boat, so it's, we had a daughter, Sienna Brooke. C and the Brook is kind of the hidden name between that. So, and true story in our wedding vows, I put in there to always allow me to go fishing. So and that is a true story.
And you're still married. She let you go
married.
fishing, and
Absolutely.
it's happily ever after.
Yeah,
I love
and now
it.
she helps at the store, so everything is good.
That's great. And the kids are getting older now, so they're helping.
Absolutely,
at the
helping
restaurant.
both kids help at the restaurant. I mean, you got, everyone will see Sienna there. They'll see him at the fishing store, so they see him in both places. Tyler has been spending more time at the fishing store just because of scheduling and getting him from one place to the other. But you'll still, now with school and sports, things change a little bit. But this summer they were very helpful.
So, for people watching, what do you want them to know about DeCosta's when they think DeCosta's? What is it that they should remember?
Well, fresh fish, fresh products, the ingredients, you'll never be disappointed. We always stand by it. So, if you're not happy with something, you can always talk to us. We're always there. One of us is always on hand, whether Pedro or myself. Maybe I'm running a little late, but we're always making a point to be there. This way we could, oversee everything and try to put our hands in control over everything that happens there so that everyone leaves happy and that, we know that they're going to come back and see us again.
Love it. Well, I know we always leave happy when we come by. So, Nuno, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank
Cheers.
you.